Okay!
Witchbrook has been in the news far more than I was personally expecting if you asked me in January of this year. It's a game that I'm looking very much forward to. I can't wait to get my hands on it, even though it sounds like it's very far away. Earlier this year, I made a video about updates from Tyuri over on their Twitter account where they were talking about things to expect from Witchbrook, a sort of IRL element with keeping notes and keeping your witch's tome growing through the game, but now we have a little bit more of insight into what to expect from the game, where it's at right now, and because of that, probably the fact that it's far off. I'm gonna go through a few highlights and talk about what I think of this, because what they're talking about has me excited for Witchbrook even more than I was before. So yesterday, Ty reached out on Twitter to their followers and asked what we were hoping to see from the game, what our expectations would be like for what an average day in the world would look like. They're just trying to figure out how to work what we learn in the Witchbrook Academy into gameplay so it has meaning. They've mentioned that the team has messed around with crafting, the gameplay loops of that, combat, farming, town building, and other things, just because they don't think learning magic is enough. And while myself and a lot of other people who are looking forward to this game probably would be fine with just going to witch classes and living that Harry Potter-like experience, they said they want to go beyond that, and they compared it to Persona, which I think is a really cool way to judge this, and if they pursue this, a very awesome way to implement that system into a game like this. So for example, if you're not familiar with Persona 5, you basically have your life you live as a student in Japan, and then your life as a superhero going through the cognitive underworld, but things you do in your real life, like exercising, reading, forming relationships with your friends, will strengthen your stats in battle when you go into the cognitive world. So Ty mentioned they're considering concepts like that. They want to reward you for doing well in your Wizarding World activities, so that way you can bring it into other aspects of the game. Something they brought up frequently through this thread would be you managing a town. And personally, I think that would be an interesting approach. I don't know if it's something I'd love to see from the game. I think it would be really cool if we have multiple jobs. Maybe that's sort of a post-game sort of thing. So for example, you would go to the academy, you'd have however many seasons to learn being a witch or wizard or warlock, and then as the game progresses, you learn more skills, you can focus on what aspects of the magic you want to learn. Maybe the classes each have a minigame associated with learning a spell or learning something else, I don't know, something to that effect. And then once you quote-unquote graduate or reach a certain point, you get to select a class, for lack of a better term, of being a wizard police officer or working as a professor or something like that, being a healer, running an inn, something to that effect. I think that's a really interesting way they could implement these things they're thinking about, and it sounds like something that I think would be rewarding and give you more choice and allow you to have your own experience going through that witch academy. And luckily it seems like that may be the case, because another tweet mentions that on top of the main back and forth, they're expecting to have a lot of subsystems in the game, like potion making, fishing, collecting, rituals, events, etc., many of which will be magical, and they also want us to graduate. So, like I said, maybe the graduation unlocks a post-game where the town management sim aspects come into play. Maybe you're a dungeon explorer, maybe you collect materials for shopkeepers, maybe you just keep the peace, maybe you want to own a bar. Because this does sound like it's going to be more of a sim than a story, Ty specifically calls out that they don't want to make a story-driven game, they want to make a mechanics-driven sandbox game, and that means the main mechanic can't just be learning magic, as learning something with no purpose isn't satisfying. They later go on to highlight managing a town, like I said, building a town, which is something new and unique, dungeon crawling, maintaining a farm, herbology, combat, and I think this is all in the realm of possibility. I think all of these things sound interesting, and I would honestly, if they could do it, I'd love to see all of these be implemented, and depending on where you focus your resources and your time at the academy, that can lead into having better stats for your experience in the quote-unquote post-game. It seems like where the team is at right now is sort of similar to Stardew Valley. Continuing on in the thread, they talk about improving the town would unlock new lessons and school upgrades, which improves your magical ability, which lets you do more things to improve the town, and then more villagers come in, which, again, similar to Stardew, kind of similar to Animal Crossing New Leaf, but if it all comes back to learning magic at the school, and personally, if it allows you to have freedom with the type of things you want to do in this world, that's basically what I'm looking for. If I can boot up Witchbrook on my Switch day one, I can just start my classes in that academy, and then the sun sets, it's nighttime, I'm supposed to be in bed, and then I just go in the dungeons, and I snoop around in the dungeons of this academy. That's all I want. That's all I want out of a Harry Potter-like game like this. There's nothing else like this, and I think it has a lot of potential to be something very cool for all the Harry Potter fans out there like myself, and obviously other witch and wizard-themed popular media. So at the top of this, I did mention that I think this can give us a sort of mindset of when to expect the game, and considering the team is talking very openly about how the theme and main point of Witchbrook is in flux right now, I think it's fair to say that the game is at least a year away, if not more, but I think there is a lot to hope for here, and as Ty mentioned earlier in the thread, they are looking for ideas, feedback, and what we want to see out of a game like this. And at the end of it all, they do mention that this is just a concept they're exploring right now, none of this is final, so like I said, game is probably pretty far off, but this is going to be something I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on in the future. The Witchbrook Reddit is full of ideas at this point after this Twitter thread, but I want to hear from you. What are you looking forward to with Witchbrook? Are you excited? Have you downloaded that Harry Potter app, that Pokemon Go clone? Because I have. It seems charming. I don't know how much I'm going to play it, but that being said, I hope you stick around, I hope you enjoyed, and as always, good vibes and good game.